Hello, everyone. I'm Natalie from Plarium, and this is Games Gathering Kyiv 2023. Welcome, everyone. I hope we will enjoy this online stream day just as much as the two following offline days in Kyiv. I'm very pleased to have you all here. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a lot of interesting and exciting lectures from our speakers. So get ready for this awesome day, and I hope you have gotten your coffee or a snack or tea and are ready to listen to our speakers. So without further ado, we will start with our first lecture by Andrew Wong here. He is the VP of Strategic Partnership at Mobile Premier League, and the topic of his speech will be India, a new monetization growth destination for mobile games. So please welcome Andrew. We will have half an hour for the lectures and the Q&A session, so please don't be shy and leave your questions or comments in the chat section in the Pine tool. So welcome, Andrew.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hello, Netanya.
Hi, nice to meet you. Feel free to start as soon as you're ready.
Sure. Thank you very much. So, hey guys, this is Andrew from MPL. I'm actually based in Hong Kong right now. So, it's actually my honors to be the first speakers of the online sections for the game gathering in Kyiv. So today I'm going to spend about 20 minutes to talk about mobile premium lead and also like the new monetization solutions in India. So assuming that like most of the audience are game developers, so I hope that like my content is actually relevant to you. So before like going through the slides, I want to spend a minute to introduce myself. I joined MPL for about 2 years already, but I have about almost like 14 years experience in mobile game development and publishing. So I work for like Huge Games. It's a European social casino game developers for 4.5 years before joining MPL, and also like almost 2 years in Play Studios. It's an American social game casino developer as well. So right now I'm actually like in Asia, focused on the Indian business. So speaking about India, so I'm not sure all of you guys have a good understanding of the India, but I want to highlight a couple of things which is very favorable for doing game development and publish your games in India. So India obviously is actually like the largest population country with the fastest growing mobile game and revenue. So according to the UN research, so right now it's actually 1.43 billion populations, and then in the total gaming revenue is achieving almost like 3 billion. And then like the 4G penetration is 99%, and then it's actually a very interesting market with a 98% of the Android market share. And then for the gamer perspective, we have like 365 million gamers in India, and because of like the huge market, huge country, so 85% of like the gamers, they prefer playing on mobile only. So that is actually like based on like a certain research. That's why I summarize here. And speaking about like the mobile games, I think that is actually a universal issue. Tens of a million Indian gamers, they are less likely to monetize on the free-to-play mobile games. What does it mean? So I think like when you talk to a lot of the developers, they say that, oh, there's a lot of install, a lot of active users in India, but there is actually an asymmetric like distribution between the users and also like the revenues. So today I'm going to like tell you and then educate you and share some of like the ideas how we can tackle these problems. So first of all, we have like to understand what is the Indian culture. So the Indian culture is actually a little bit different from the American world, European, and also like the Chinese world. So what does the Indians player they spend on gaming? One of the key things, or one of like the interesting observations based on myself and the entire team in India, is follow. That is actually like the decorative purpose, but there's a no return on the game, or the users can make the deposit and join the tournament in the game, and they have like potentially monetary return. We obviously seeing that the green part is getting much more popular in India right now. What does that mean is actually like the India want to spend and then make deposit in the games, they have a potentially have a return based on their skill level, based on their participation, and also based on the tournament. So that's why I want to like introduce an ideas which is called skill-based pay competitive gaming. It's simply called like PCG. It's actually like getting very popular right now in the last 4 or 5 years. That's exactly what MPL focused on in since 2018. I give you like some of the research and some of like the statistics about like the PCG paid competitive gaming in India. So this is actually like a landscape in the currently and also in the next 10 years. So for the red circle is actually showing like the total revenue of the total gaming markets. So right now it's actually between 2022 and 2025. So right now, last year, I think like the whole market is close to 3 billion. And then half of them, even more than half of them, is actually like contributed by the skill-based paid competitive gaming. When you fast forward to about like 8 years later, that would be like 10 billion market scale, and then 67%, so almost like two-thirds of that, will be contributed by the paid competitive gaming. So why is actually like doing so well, and then what is actually like the factors to go for the drive? I think like for the bottom part of the slide, you will see that the phone is actually more friendly for the gaming. And then like 4G is actually well penetrated. I think like the government and then the company, the telco is actually like developing for 5G access. And then we're seeing more and more game developers enter the Indian markets. All these factors is actually helping us and helping like the market to improve and then generating better and better like market landscape in India. So when we're talking about like the paid competitive gaming, what does it mean? I can give you like example how this actually like the PCG business model. I give you example. It's actually like the MPL chess games. So there's a two players. They join the games and then like go into the tournaments. Player A, he pay $5 on the entry fee, and player B, he also like pay $5 entry fee. So that is actually like a $10 GMV. So for those of the people who play and join these tournaments, they believe that I'm actually very skillful. I can win in the games and then get the potential return. So let's say like 2 to 5 minutes later, and then the player B won the games. He's actually the winners. So out of that $10 of the GMV, so the winners will got like $8 as the winnings of the tournament. And then MPL as actually the platform, as actually like the provider, service provider, will take 20% of the take rate. So that means actually $2 will become our revenue. And unfortunately, like player A, so because like he or she lost in the game, and then he will he will not get anything. So that is actually a very typical business model for the paid competitive gamings in India. So that is actually like the ideas of like the PCG. So how MPL is performing in India is actually we are the largest play competitive gaming platform in India. So we started and we established in 2018. And then right now we have 105 million registered users. And every month we have a 2 million cash paying monthly active users. This is actually a very, very massive scale of like the playing of gaming platform in India. And then looking back by last year, 2022, we have a 1.5 billion of the gross merchandising value. So that means actually like the users who participated in the gaming and then like they put like $1.5 billion on the table. And then based on the take rate and then also like the cost of acquisitions, we actually have 150 million gross revenue last year as well. So paid competitive gaming is not something small. It's not something that is actually like insignificant. So I can tell you that this is actually something that you may be consider if you are a mobile game developer and explore a new growth driving engine. So that is actually the paid competitive gaming. And then I want to add one more thing. It's actually why you have like to consider Indian market. This is actually like I captured from the Google Play console help page. So if you search like Google Play building requirements in India, so starting in April, which is actually about like 3 months ago, Google already changed their building requirements for the developers in India, which they allow third-party payment solutions. What does it mean? What does it mean? Is actually like originally, if you're launching your games on Google Play, you can only use the Google Play payment gateway, payment solutions. But only in India, they allow the developers to use the third-party payment solutions. That is actually a massive opportunity for all of the developers they come into India, because there will be a lot of third-party payment solutions that is actually charging way less of the payment solution fee. And then we can also customize the package by microtransactions, because like if you can imagine that most of the developers, or like they will having the lower price at 99 cents, which is actually like still very high comparatively to most of the Indian users. Then we can actually set the price point at like 20 cents, 30 cents, which is maybe like 10 to 15 rupees in India. It's actually much more welcome to the users to make their first purchase by spending a little bit money on the game to try that. So that is actually another like benefits to explore the games distributions in India. And MPL is very happy to help you to do that. So are you ready? Are you ready to explore in that? Then this is actually like the MPL solution. So MPL want to publish the games in India by offering like 4 monetization solutions. I think like the ad monetization and in-app purchase is actually very typical for all the free-to-pay model. But right now, the local payment gateway is also available. And MPL is actually like master the pay competitive gaming. So we have like the SDK to help you to make your games much more competitive, much more ready to launch the PCG mechanic in the games. And also we can support your Web3 marketplace as well. So what kind of the games that we are looking at, or what kind of the games is actually more like relevant to the Indian market? I would like to say like on the right hand side is actually 4 giants. Racing. Racing is actually a huge market. There's millions of like the MAU who playing racing game in India. And shooter game is actually another like key market, so key genres. And also there's a lot of like casual PvP games. They are fitting for like the pay competitive gaming. And then the last one is actually like card games. So Indian users love playing card game as well. So if you are the developers and they're making or developing all these 4 categories, please feel free like to contact me, and then I love to like to share more case studies and understanding with you. And then the process is actually very, very straightforward. So we make your life easier by introducing a minimal effort for developer to participate in the pilot test programs. So no SDK integration is required, because like, we want to test your games and see whether the game is actually good and relevant to the Indian market. So that is actually like 6 steps. After signing the NDA and signing the agreement, then MPL is going to sponsor the user acquisition cost to drive the game, drive the traffic to your game on Google Play. You do not have like to make any changes. You keep your game as the publishers. You keep your game as your own ownerships. So we spend like a certain amount of the money to drive tens of a thousand or hundreds of a thousand new install in your games, and then we look into like the retentions and return on ad spend. And about like 2 to 3 months after that, we have like the long-term payment cohort analysis, and then we will observe what is the day 7 retention and day 30 return on ad spend. If the numbers actually looks good, then we can make the agreement and design it to have a long-term partnership by publishing your game in India. So typically there will be like the 3 outcomes. But I think that if the performance is great, then MPL will be talking to you and discuss, for example, what is the revenue share model will be, what is actually like the terms, and then the revenue share ratio, and then how much MPL as a publishers to commit to grow your game in India. So this is actually like the typical model to help the developer to understand the Indian market by making as minimal as possible of the efforts to test the market. So that is actually like my sharing. So I think it's actually quite straightforward. And then if you want to learn more, and then you have like want to have a separate conversations, please feel free to contact me by email, andrewwong@mplgaming.com, or you can scan the QR code and connect me on LinkedIn. So right now, this is actually my last slide of my presentations. I actually reserve like almost like 10 minutes for Q&A. Natalie, are we going to have like a Q&A right now?
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot for the interesting talk. Yeah, of course, there will be some questions from the audience. So yeah, since there is like a little delay before the end of this presentation and the way people see it, some questions may come up, may appear later. Anyway,
Okay.
there is still a question. The first one is, do Indian players spend like a lot of money on mobile game on games overall, like mobile computer games, etc.?
Yeah, I would like to recap this one, right? So this is actually
Okay.
like 1.5 billion GMV. So you can imagine that like on average, that's a 2 million payers every month. And then this is actually massive. So unfortunately, I cannot tell you like how much they are on average, but definitely based on our data, is they are spending on the pay competitive gaming much more higher than the free to play model. And then
Okay. Mhm.
based on my past experience, I see the numbers actually like quite surprised when I comparing to some of the metrics when I work for other company in the past.
Okay, thanks. And as far as I understand, it's more profitable to invest in the mobile games industry in India rather than computer or uh, console games, right?
Correct, correct. I can give you like one example. So if you're looking at like the number of the mobile phone in Mumbai, it will be like the number of the devices will be much more largest than the total number of the computer in India. So that's why mobile is actually like the first destinations that you go with. And and then I think like on one of the slide I already showed that based on the research, 85% of the gamers they only play on mobile.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, we already have the next question. Does do alternative payment systems mean Google allows in-game crypto payments and crypto rewards?
No, this is actually not about like the crypto payment. It's about like the payment solution. So right now, if you're like having a Google Play apps, when you tap buy, and then they will palm like the Google payment solutions. But right now, if you're like integrating the third-party payment solutions, that means like you are not only go for like the Google Play, you can also like using some other like e-payment or like the local payment solutions. For example, like Paytm is actually like one of like the most popular Indian like e-payment solutions. So that means actually the users can choose those of like the solutions they are more familiar with.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, I also have another question. So maybe you have any forecasts or maybe some estimates about the game genres for mobile games that are more popular among Indian players. Maybe it's hyper casual or hybrid casual or something more like hardcore, midcore.
So I think like on the category on the genre, so I would still prefer like those of like the four categories that here. So for racing and shooters, I can give you like some of the
Mhm.
reference. So some of like the top and popular games, they have a millions of the MAU in India, only on free to pay. And then you can imagine that if all these users will have a potential to convert to the play competitive gaming, and then all of them is actually only spending $1 a month. There will be millions of like the potential scale.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay then. Okay, let's see if we have any more questions. Just a sec. Okay, I don't see any more of them, but still, we have shared your LinkedIn profile if that's okay. So people can
Sure.
reach out to you and ask questions about the company and what you do. Yeah, please feel free to reach out to Andrew via email as well or via QR code. So yeah, this is actually very convenient. So thank you for that. Yeah, and thanks again for an interesting talk. And well, yeah, we hope that India indeed will become like a new destination for mobile games and developers. So yeah, thanks a lot again.
Thank you very much. Have a good one. Bye.
Yeah, thanks. Have a great day too. Bye bye.